Another month has passed, and so I wanted to go over the changes to the IGVF portal for the month of March 2025. I'm Forrest Tanaka, and I work on the IGVF data portal user interface. So let's get started. Here we go with the beginning of March with release 8.40. The first one is Predictive Model page, and you can find that under Resources. Right here, Predictive Models. And so this is what the page looks like. Now, this is not a database-driven page. This is a static page for now. And hopefully we will transition this to a database-driven page as we get more data relevant to this. So we're using this for planning purposes to make sure this is the kind of data that we want to show one day. And it provides some good information for now. Okay, the next one, multiplex samples check construct library sets before using them. So this is to fix a bug on multiplex sample pages, which you can find here. Just look at the first one, and if we look at the data for this page, you'll see it has no construct libraries, and the fact that it had no construct libraries was actually causing a crash on this page, where you just see a blank page. And so I fixed that for this month. Institutional certificates UI improvements. So we've had an institutional certificate page, objects I should say, for a while, but now they look a lot better. Here are here's the list view, which should look a lot nicer, and there's some other details that I'll get into later in this video. We also have this controlled access, radio button filters. You can see ones without controlled access or ones only with controlled access, or either one, true or false. And also the pages themselves should look nicer than they used to. Okay, so the next one, read names column in sequencing file tables. So sure, if we look for, let's see, right, file sets, look for ones with lots of sequencing files just to show this. So look at files. This has lots of sequencing files. And we now have this read names column that we didn't have before. It is not sortable because these are array values, and I typically do not allow sorting on columns with array values. But hopefully this will make certain things easier for you. Okay, so that's it for 8.40. Let's go to the next release, 8.41, Hierarchical facets. Let's look under measurement sets, and you'll see right here under the assay group, these filters now have a hierarchy to them with these parent terms that are overall categories and these child terms that are more specific. These child terms work just like before. If I want to see all or only in vitro CRISPR screen using flow cytometry, then that's what you see here. But you can also click on the parent term and select everything that falls under CRISPR screens. So there you go here. You can also see what's selected here as well as in the filters themselves. And you can turn them off and turn off the entire group, or do it all at once, like that. Okay, scroll matching scheme titles to the middle instead of the top of the page. Yeah, this was simply to fix a little awkwardness. If you did a title search, let's say we're looking at genes. If I type in genes here, it now scrolls to the middle of the page. Before it was scrolling to the top so far that it sometimes appeared underneath this and you couldn't see what you were searching for. So that is now fixed. You can clear that here. Okay, fix applied to samples report link. Yes, this was a bug fix for applied to samples. Applied, let's see, oops. Construct library sets. Applied to samples. Okay, so let's look at construct library sets with applied to samples. Right, so let's look at this one. And so this table has this report link here. And what was happening was when you click this, you went to the report page successfully, but it showed no results. And but now they do. So if we look at this, UPAR, ATUZ, TJZO, if I go to the, I should stop doing that, report view, we now see UPAR, ATUZ, TJZO instead of nothing at all. Okay, so that's 8.41. Let's look at 8.42. Fix Cypress test. That's an internal issue for our end-to-end tests. Fix targeted sample term on the in vitro system page. And let's look at the report view for that. The targeted sample term. Yeah, and very simply, we weren't displaying that before, and now we are. Right here in the summary panel, and we can link to the sample term, the sample ontology term. Okay, let's see, assay table page. Yes, so this is a brand new page, also under resources. It's at the bottom here, assays. And this is a brand new display, and it is database driven. And so as more data is submitted to the portal, this table will update with the new numbers. And yeah, so this is a little different from some of the previous ones we've had in that we have this hierarchy of categories, and also we have these totals. So this last column is the total of all the columns to the left, and these total columns here are the total of everything above it. Right, so this is the total of the total for CRISPR screens, or total of the totals of CRISPR screens here. Whereas this shows the total just for the differentiated cell specimens, 173 plus 4, 177. I do abbreviate the numbers here just to make sure they fit, so some of these won't be exact numbers, just so that these numbers don't overflow, as I said. Okay. Adjust Checkfiles display. This was just a small change. I can't really demonstrate this effectively, but this affects the Checkfiles display on file pages. If we check the Checkfiles version, yeah, we've had this, but there's certain cases that weren't quite working right, so I fixed that, but otherwise they still work the same, taking you to the Checkfiles GitHub repo. Okay, so that's it for 8.42. Last we have 8.43. View object history. That is an internal feature. Data use limitation badges. All right, so I showed you the new institutional certificate pages and list view. Let's take a look at those again. And so what this ticket was specifically for is for these data use limitations badges, which now all institutional certificates now have. Now some don't have limitations, and so that gets displayed. Let's look at the next page. Excuse me. Some do have limitations, and some have limitations and modifiers to those limitations. And if you hold the mouse over, it'll explain what these are. So HMB is health medical, biomedical. And this modifier, MDS, is the use of data includes methods development research. So for each of these different data use limitation codes, we can show the what their meaning is. And they also appear on the page themselves, right here. And we can also see this controlled access. What that means is there's a Boolean value in here, controlled access. If it happens to be true, you'll get this icon here. But we get the same tooltip for this badge. You'll not only see it here, you'll also see it on sample pages. So if we go here, look at institutional certificates. Okay, if I can find one with more than one, here's one with a lot. And you'll find a table of institutional certificates. And we see a similar thing. Here's a link to this institutional certificate, as well as its status, the data use limitations, and the lab. And if I click this, we get to the actual institutional certificate page. Okay. And the last one is an internal issue for our end-to-end tests. And so those are all the changes for the month of March 2025. And I hope you find those features compelling and helpful. And I will see you next month.